All right, so PGY1 Family Medicine, Arnot Health. Today was day one, and it was fascinating. It was fun. I mean, for sure, as soon as I got in there, I felt great. Right, like your starting residency is probably one of the best feelings to know you've made it, you've achieved that goal you were looking for, and this is what we were given for our orientation schedule here. So this is today's entire thing. We all got there pretty much by 7:30. No one really arrived any later, and we were getting breakfast. Everyone's kind of saying hi's to each other, and before we could all even like get to know each other very much, we jumped right into it. 8:15, Dr. Michael Witt, our DIO, designated institutional officer, starts talking about how he's kind of being there for all of us no matter what happens, right? So one of the shared themes amongst everyone here was that there's an open door policy for every faculty member, program director, or no matter what other department they might be in, as you can see from all the different people that are listed here as well. And we could reach out to them for whatever we might need. But Dr. Michael Witt, who had just finished his overnight duty at the ER, at the ED, he was pretty on point for how tired he must have been, and he mentioned that he's really there for anything that might happen, right? Anything we're struggling with, any difficulties we're having, any issues that are coming up. His job is to make sure to do whatever he can to make things better for us or find a way to make it better for us. And it kept going on, right? More people kept coming. I think my personal favorite was meeting our spiritual care person and the chaplain that we're gonna have. He was hysterical. He was really funny. He tackled the, I guess, misconception people have when they hear that he's the hospital chaplain, and then he really dove deep into how significant spiritual care can be for a lot of people and the benefits of having that available for a lot of the patients, especially when they're going through something like end of life or struggling with a diagnosis that might be really, really difficult to, absorb, like cancer, for example. And I just really enjoyed his entire discussion. We then went on to clinical documentation and really talking about how important it is to document things very accurately, because for the coding team, with how ICD-10 can be and how granular ICD-10 can be, it's very important for them to really know exactly what's wrong. So those codes can begin from like, okay, left, but then left what? Left hand. Okay, left hand, which finger? Okay, exactly where on the finger? And that's how things are coded. And clinical documentation needs to be very accurate in that manner too. So you can't just write heart failure, for example. You have to write what kind of heart failure, and then if it's with some other comorbidities, etc., so that things can be coded correctly, and insurance companies will then go ahead and pay for them correctly. Otherwise, patient care will be interrupted. Had a little break for more catch up, and it was really fun. So I'm family medicine. I got to meet some of my co-residents, and then I got to meet the internal residents. The radiology team was there. The psych residents were there. The ER residents were there. Everyone was in this one room, about 40 of us, and it was just such a powerful feeling to kind of stand together like that and be there as we're embarking on what's going to be our legend in the future, right? We're gonna be done in 3 years, some in four, like psych, I believe, and then once we have our license, we're all gonna be making our mark in different parts of the world, in different parts of America for sure, and helping people all over. But again, these 15-minute breaks weren't enough to really get to talk much, but it was fun. You would pick like one or two people that you could talk to, especially the ones that are near you first, and then you start expanding to talking to others as you like start walking around during these breaks. Hospital IT security, obviously, a big deal about how you handle patient data, where things are left, what to do if you find PHI laying around somewhere, or how to avoid things like phishing, where you might get weird links and emails that look real but they're not, and they're just trying to get your password. A lot of these things happen and they're very real, and this is how a lot of patient data gets leaked out, right? Everyone's out there to steal as much patient data as possible, and hospitals have the best patient data, or the best data on a human in general. So when you can steal something like social security number, date of birth, and name, you pretty much took on the whole identity of that person and can go ahead and open some credit cards somewhere and scam the person. So it's a very, very significant thing. We also had corporate compliance conversations, and then safety and security. Matt Zierker, great guy, very fit. He's the one really responsible for kind of training everyone on understanding how to handle things, of which I guess the scariest situation would be kind of like the situation of having an active shooter on site, And he talked a lot about exactly how to handle a lot of different scenarios. And again, same scenario of being open door, available to talk about anything that might come up. Lunch was kind of when we all really sank into talking to each other a lot more. Those 30 minutes of having good food and getting to know each other, where we're all living, what our plans, exchanging numbers, making those WhatsApp groups for our teams, and etc. And I would say that I'm really excited for the things that we'll all be doing with each other, whether it's just the FM residents kind of just having their own house parties or get-togethers to really kind of relax and catch up with each other, or if it's going to be with everyone, and everyone was really cool and fun to meet, so I'm excited for that too. I felt like pretty much everyone I said hi to was just someone fantastic to be around, and that's kind of what the point of interviews are, right? Like that's what programs are trying to do. They're trying to pick out people that will make great people, right? Because any program director can train you to become a good doctor, and that's something that they mentioned as well. Any program director out there can train you to become a good doctor, but they can't train you to be a good person, and that's kind of where the difference in who gets ranked and who doesn't get ranked kind of often comes into play. Right after lunch, we went into infection control, stewardship, antibiotic stewardship, right, and all that. Restraint training, learning who you can restrain and how to restrain and how to put those orders in. Chemical restraint versus physical restraint, stuff like that. It was really informative. Both of them that presented were nurses who are going to be the ones taking on the orders and doing the restraining. So we really got to be on point about how we place these orders and why, right? Why are we restraining someone? How long are we going to restrain the person? And so on and so forth. After one final break where we kind of caught up a little more and we're pretty much ready to go home because of how drained we were sitting in the same room, we went on to discussing RLS statistics, which is something that Heather discussed regarding reporting of patient outcomes. So really important to report things that happen in the hospital, whether someone tripped and fell or someone had an error, right? And all these things need to be reported, not because you're going to punish someone about it, but more so because you can make sure you start forming workflows that kind of prevent it, right? That's the real goal, right? So if you made a mistake, I made a mistake, someone made a mistake, or something occurred and patient outcome was not on the positive side, it needs to be reported so that we can find out what occurred and then not penalize whoever's responsible, really just form workflows so that that same event or chain of events doesn't occur again, and that same patient outcome doesn't occur again, right? Otherwise, it will happen again, and the next time it happens again, it might be a lot worse. We talked about the patient experience with Teresa, and then went right into getting our laptop, badges, HRI-9 verification. We got our white coat. Tomorrow is a whole day of EPIC training. Now, when I was working at NYU as in clinical research, I'd already gotten a lot of EPIC training and experience, but again, it's something that you have to do here as well. So we're going to do that all day tomorrow and also get our pictures taken for the website. Thursday is going to be another day of kind of getting to meet some more people, understanding wellness, and then we're going to have a team building exercise at Tanglewood. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And I'm especially looking forward to the Harris Hill picnic we're going to have Thursday evening, where everyone's going to bring their families. So that's going to be an excellent way to really end the night there. Friday is going to be pretty chill. So you'll hear about it when I get back Friday as well, where we're going to kind of have our meeting with the resident council. We're going to do a lot of academic integrity aspect, and it'll be a pretty quick day until we do the breakout sessions of programs and some tours, right? Really getting to see and understand the environment we're in. Now, what's been truly interesting is learning about some of these things that we're going to be using throughout our time as PGY1 residents, right? Like there's a website called Vital Talk that I heard about today, where you kind of learn how to approach a patient and how to say things that might be a little more sensitive or difficult to say, right? Because we don't say it every day, and it's something that the person you're saying it to may not want to hear, right? So it could be bad news, it could be a really bad diagnosis, it could be something that they're doing that you don't like, but they don't even realize they're doing it, and it's a bad thing. How do you say it without ruining that, patient doctor interaction? And it's interesting because I would imagine, I still haven't looked at it yet, but I would imagine Vital Talk probably has information that would really help someone who's trying to understand ethics for like step 1 and step 2, and how to say something, how to bring the news out, or how to communicate certain facts. And I look forward to checking it out and seeing if it is something that might be helpful in that respect. And then also learning like how you're supposed to report things, right? If something is being done incorrectly by someone that's a staff member, something that's being done incorrectly by someone who might be outside of our staff, but like, part of the hospital in some way, and all kinds of weird things that can happen, right? Like one scenario that really didn't entirely catch me off guard, but it wasn't something I felt like is professional in any way whatsoever, is that a couple, husband and wife, maybe boyfriend, girlfriend, may end up having a really bad falling out, and maybe the husband works at the hospital, and he's gonna go look up the wife's information, how she's doing and stuff, and really try to like sabotage her in ways. It can also go the other way around. Maybe the wife knows the husband works and what hours he works and where he works, and she might come mess up his car, or she might try to frame him for something that he's never really done, and all kinds of weird things that can occur that, it's sad, but it's reality, right? That's how the world is, and you got to really be aware of these scenarios, especially if you think that things are going in that way. And this is, these scenarios that I just mentioned are kind of where our DIO, Dr. Michael Witt, and our safety and security, Matt Zerker, are kind of very critical for us here at Arnot Health. So it's good to just have that knowledge of who you would go to, and that was probably the best thing about today and orientation in general. And yeah, I felt very, very surreal, very empowered, very happy, to say the least, about being at orientation, starting residency, and I look forward where this journey goes from here onwards. And I'm going to be sharing more about it as we go along every day. I look forward to doing like patient reviews, things I saw, mistakes I might have made, things I got right, what I should have known, stuff like that, so that you guys, when you start your residency, you're already aware of what's coming, and none of it is a surprise, and you can really just excel even better than I will. So that's kind of where things are right now. I appreciate you guys joining me for the ride, and hopefully more to come very soon. Thanks a lot.